Let's now look at the character of Lady Macbeth, and the question is, how does Shakespeare present Lady Macbeth in the play? Now, we know that Lady Macbeth is quite a powerful, strong, influential woman in the play, and she is portrayed as being one of Macbeth's primary supporters in the pursuit of the crown and kingship. Right, she is just like Macbeth in the beginning, quite ambitious, but also quite sinister in her intentions. And Shakespeare presents her as the main stimulus and supporter of Macbeth's overarching ambition. She's depicted as ruthless, and she is very manipulative because she manipulates Macbeth when she says, for example, "Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it." In this way, we see that she clearly manipulates Macbeth and reveals her sinister and conniving motives. She uses emotional blackmail and she capitalizes on attacking her husband's masculinity, and she challenges his manhood. For example, when she says to him, "When you durst do it, then you were a man." Her function here serves to remove his doubt and to really encourage Macbeth to forge ahead with his plans to prove his manhood to her and to prove his worthiness to her. Okay, so she is quite ruthless and quite callous, cold, and calculating, and she's presented as very clinical, as we see in the plans that they both orchestrate to murder Duncan. Okay, we see very clearly that Shakespeare presents her callous nature through many of her quotations, especially when she says, "Unsex me here, come to my woman's breasts and take my milk for gall." Now we know that milk symbolizes life and symbolizes nourishment and nutrition, whilst gall is quite destructive, it is toxic, it is poisonous. And through these words, Shakespeare presents Lady Macbeth's defiance of her own femininity, of her humanness, and her maternal attributes. And this reinforces a very evil nature, because gall reflects her venomous thoughts and her horrible intentions. Her lust for power, I think, surpasses that of Macbeth's lust for power and status. And we see that she undermines her husband quite a great deal in the play in order for him to prove his worthiness by killing Duncan. Right? Lady Macbeth is portrayed as very evil. The use of her series of imperatives on herself, making demands on herself, really, really highlights her dominating ways. Okay? And we see that very clearly throughout the play when she uses persuasive techniques as well to persuade Macbeth to go ahead with the murders and to pursue his ambition of becoming king. However, we do see that, as with Macbeth, we see that with Lady Macbeth as well, Shakespeare does present her as having a change in her personality, in her character. In the beginning, like Macbeth, she is portrayed as being strong, influential, powerful, dominating, quite manipulative. But as the play progresses, we see that she then, towards the end of the play especially, she becomes quite a pathetic character. Okay, she suffers from emotional and mental trauma, which makes her quite unstable. She cannot live with the guilt that she experiences, the emotional trauma that she experiences after the deeds have been done. She becomes a pathetic character, and she is consumed by guilt, which makes her lose her confidence and her sanity. She hallucinates and eventually commits suicide in the play, right? And we see that the recurring images of blood symbolizes her guilty feelings. When she sleepwalks, Shakespeare demonstrates her mental breakdown and the state of her mind, the state of her fragility and her vulnerability in the play. Okay, so we see that initial portrayal of her being courageous and determined is quickly replaced by her guilty feelings, her fragility, and her vulnerability towards the end of the play. And when she says, "Will these hands never be clean?" Shakespeare presents her in contrast with her earlier determination and with her earlier confidence. When she said that a little water clears us of this deed, she isn't able to actually apply that, and she is wrecked emotionally and physically. And it is a time in the play when audiences actually feel sorry for her because she becomes so pathetic. In this way, Shakespeare engages the sympathy of audiences, and audiences realize that Lady Macbeth has paid a very harsh price for greed and also for status and power. Thank you.